Hey crypto friends, gonna do a quickie update video because it's the nicest day of the year and I've got flowers to plant and dirt to get in. We're gonna look at Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, BCH, XRP, BNB, and ADA. Pretty much, the bulls are getting exactly what they wanted to see in terms of follow through. I'll go over some of the trades that I have entered into today, taking a bit of a more passive role just because I want to get off the computer. If I were on the computer, I'd be doing things a little bit differently. If it were a market day and I were watching stocks and I was here anyways, I would be more active, but taking a bit of a passive role here. So let's go to the 4-hour time frame because last time we checked in, we were looking at a 4-hour equilibrium to play out, and it did so for about a day and a half after that video. So we had the high and the low on the same 4-hour candlestick. Our lower high, which was the most important resistance level for me, was the top of that bounce. We came down and pretty much formed a double bottom. And then right here is where we came up and hit resistance. And you can see pretty much 3 4-hour candlesticks in a row. We rejected from that resistance of 50.71 on Coinbase. We hit 50.57, 50.64, 50.67. We got right there and then pulled back. But look what stands out on this pullback. No bear volume whatsoever. As soon as I saw that, there were also little instances on bulls buying dips on the short-term timeframes that showed us the bulls were in control. But as soon as this little 4-hour consolidation takes place, that increases my confidence significantly. Number one, the bears didn't prove anything and they had no volume. But number two, it gives me a trade setup to play off of. So if we had seen a bull break on this initial attempt, we would have gone straight from a double bottom to a bull break, and our last 4-hour high or low would be 47.78. So let's say that bull break of 50.71 happened and I wanted to enter on the bull break. I'd be entering at 50.71, let's say, and there would be no support nearby on the 4-hour. I'd have to use this level all the way down here. Because we saw this little 4-hour bull flag, that gives us a new support level. So if I'm buying this bull break, and I did buy this break on a stop buy, I can place my stop loss below 49.67, which is essentially $190 higher and $190 of less risk using that stop level. If that breaks after that bull break, we lose the 4-hour uptrend, and the play that I'm looking for is not playing out. That means I'm wrong and I want to exit. But this is the ideal bear volume, bull volume scenario with that increasing bull volume on the break. And now our sights are just set on the top of 53.45, and the bulls have all the momentum in their favor. It's going to be up to the bears to stop this continuation. Right now, we're on a one-way track towards continuation in the cryptocurrency space, unless these bears can show up with some surprising volume. Anything above 49.67 for Bitcoin keeps those bulls in control with that higher low, and we're going to be looking at 53.45 and then 5,400 as the next psychological level behind it. So a scenario where if we lose the 4-hour uptrend without breaking 53.45, we then have a daily equilibrium to be watching, where we would have our high, low of the pullback, lower high, and then we lose the 4-hour uptrend, and the bulls have to form a higher low compared to 47.87 to stay in the tightening daily range. So pretty much those are the two scenarios, in my opinion. We're either going to hold the 4-hour uptrend and hold the 4-hour 12-period exponential support, which just held, and see continuation, or we lose the 4-hour uptrend, lose the 4-hour 12-period exponential support, and a daily equilibrium and daily tightening range will then be what we're watching for. So I made that bull entry on Bitcoin. I made that bull entry on Litecoin as well. Litecoin got a lot more follow through. So on the 4-hour time frame here, same scenario. I had my stop buy just under 90.40, and I put it just under 90.40, anticipating that my order size compared with the other people waiting would be enough to push through. And that's exactly what we got. And that bull break alone resulted in a solid 7 or 8% follow through. So what I was talking about earlier, if I was on my computer watching this bull break take place, I would have scaled out into the upper 90s, knowing we were heading to key resistance, knowing a bull break would not really have been likely on that initial attempt. And then that would have allowed me to reload. That's a 5% swing from that high to the low of consolidation. And right now we have potentially an hourly equilibrium forming. But again, for me, my trade plan is based off the 4-hour time frame. So anything above 85.31 is a higher low on the 4-hour chart. And where I stand right now in my Bitcoin and Litecoin positions, I have moved up my stops a little bit. So I would exit, I'm in a risk-free trade right now, which is ideal if you're a bull, because I cannot lose money on this trade essentially, which is the nice comfortable place to be in, and I don't have to worry about the markets and continually checking my phone while I'm out planting flowers in the yard. So we're going to be watching that 4-hour uptrend. I did take a little bit of profit on Litecoin on the initial bull break because I was here and watching the initial bull break, and we had a big upper wick of profit taking, and Bitcoin made us a little bit skeptical. It wasn't enough to make me bail on the trade, but I took 25% of Litecoin profit because Litecoin saw more follow through initially, and that allowed me a little bit of comfortability in case this was a fake out, in case Bitcoin did turn around and dump, because again, it came close. If you look on the 5-minute time frame, that initial bull move, we had that bull break and then came right back down, and then the bulls were able to hold on from there. But it made me a little bit more cautious. So like I said, I exited my Litecoin position, I exited 25% of my Litecoin position just to lower my cost basis, essentially, give me some more room to work with and give me a small amount of profit. And then I left everything else because the bulls bought that dip and we saw that continuation we're looking for. So the same thing for Litecoin. 4-hour uptrend is the most important. If we keep that 4-hour uptrend, we're going to look for a break of $100. If we lose the 4-hour uptrend, we're zooming out to the daily, and we'll look for our lower high to be set on the daily, and we'll have to form a higher low compared to 80.37. Those are the two scenarios on what we're going to be looking for the rest of the weekend. Ethereum is pretty much in the same spot. And I didn't choose Ethereum because I want to be playing Ethereum if that ETH BTC chart is breaking bullish on the weekly time frame, and I don't foresee that happening in the near-term future. It was the same thing with the 4-hour higher low at 160.48, and we got the continuation move. So now we're looking at 180.10 as the most important resistance level. Same as everybody else, we lose the 4-hour uptrend, we zoom out to the daily chart, and we're going to look for a daily equilibrium to form from there if the bulls cannot punch it through and drive it home. I also did enter. I was talking about our TCG positions, which we exited. These are the positions that we get course payments in cryptocurrencies. We just keep them. We did sell Bitcoin 6,000 breaking. We rebought half of it, Bitcoin in the 3,000. And we did just buy Litecoin and Ethereum on this consolidation because pretty much seeing enough strength where it's a long-term hold. And I've seen enough that makes me want to get into those positions rather than consistently trying to wait for pullbacks. Good enough, and fully accepting that if we do need to pull back and form another weekly higher low, we might be in the red on those entries a little bit, but again, pretty comfortable overall and pretty much just sitting on, nothing to worry about in those positions. But we are in those positions now longer term because of how this consolidation has played out. BCH on the daily chart, pretty much an inside bar bull break. So we got the 4-hour bull break here over $300 as the go signal, just like that, a 10% move. And it's the same thing as everybody else. 4-hour higher low is 288.16. And if we lose the 4-hour uptrend, we have a daily equilibrium to be watching. So the 4-hour uptrend is the most important for me tonight heading into tomorrow. XRP is now in its own world because it did get a bull break and continuation yesterday. It obviously stood out for that reason, and the 4-hour time frame just did a V-shaped recovery to higher highs. Our new higher low to keep the 4-hour uptrend is 351, and the bulls are trying to make their way back up to 383. So everybody else that we just looked at is in the same setup on the daily and 4-hour time frame. XRP is not. So if XRP cannot break 383, we're going to look for a higher low and a more of a 4-hour equilibrium where everybody else is in a bit more of a 4-hour uptrend. So a different standpoint, but obviously bulls are not complaining because we got that continuation move on the daily time frame, and we'll see if these bulls can try and remain as a leader now that they did break to a higher high where no one else has yet. BNB still tightening up. This one on the 4-hour time frame is a little bit more clear, and actually would probably want a time frame in between the 4 and the daily. Let's see what the 6 looks like. I'm just looking for clarity here where we changed the trend with no follow through. So we have to be a bit cautious. So we had 18 as a low. We bounced and hit 1941 and topped out. We have a higher low at 1816, and then we broke to a higher high, but that follow through only went 6 cents, 5 cents. So that's a double top. The bulls are still seeing healthy consolidation. Anything above 1816 is a 4-hour higher low, but they do want to break that double top with a bit more conviction. Looking at it on the daily time frame, we saw an inside bar bull break with no follow through. Little bit of a red flag, but only going to be a real red flag if $18 breaks. If $18 does break, then we zoom out to the weekly chart, and we're probably going to see the first weekly consolidation that we've seen in a while. So 18 is the most important support level for the rest of the weekend for Binance. And we'll wrap it up here with ADA. Pretty much similar standpoint as the other names on the 4-hour. Our higher low is 8.7. We are heading back up to 997 resistance. And if we lose the 4-hour uptrend, we are looking at a daily equilibrium. So pretty comfortable spot for the bulls, pretty impressive follow through, and really just looking for potential continuation on Bitcoin. If we get it, we're looking back up to previous support levels, now resistance. 5777 and 5900 are the most important resistance levels for me from here. And then, of course, as we get into the $6,000 range, tons of previous price action. That is the line in the sand for a lot of traders. So if Bitcoin can get over 6,000 and move through some of the 6,000s, in my opinion, that would be the most significant event that the bulls could see here in the next 2 weeks, because that would cause a lot of shorts to cover, and that would cause a lot of bulls to change their tunes on expecting another test of the lows, or potentially even expecting lower lows from here. So that's the most important range. Let's just box it in here and show you why that's so important, because all of this price action for weeks, months of price action between 58 and 74. So that is a range to be watching. But all in all, pretty impressive holding on of those bulls, lack of profit taking, lack of bears getting any follow through, and we'll see how long this 4-hour uptrend is intact. Congrats to the bulls. We'll keep in touch and keep an eye on Twitter, because when I am not going to do videos, I do post on Twitter, and I posted today, we're waiting for the 4-hour tightening pattern from the last video to break before we do another one, but at this point, it definitely favors the bulls. Very healthy consolidation, and I've got stop buys set is essentially what that tweet said. Thanks again. Do good things. We'll see you. Get outside. Plant some stuff. Life's good. So adventure time. We are heading back from Vegas, going to the East Coast, heading to Florida for me, and booking it through Texas and Mississippi in the South. Didn't take a whole lot of time. It was winter at this point. We're talking December, January. So snow on the ground, and I didn't think it got that cold in Texas, but it does. But there were some great state parks, and state parks are kind of like national forest in the sense that if you're there on weekdays and it's not the summer, there is nobody there. So didn't expect to see frozen water in Texas, but some nice views and some nice hikes. And this was a little state park, and I was literally the only person there, camping out by myself and trails to myself, and it was great. So just avoiding the rush hour and not feeding the alligators can give you some solitude. And it wasn't too cold. Definitely had to bundle up at night, but certainly after that 12-degree night in Zion, everything else was just a bonus. And some nice trees and nature and angles of sunlight at golden hour. And from here, I did go on a little road trip in Florida, so we'll cover that next. And that's the end of my Honda Civic. So had that Honda Civic from high school. Drove it across the country twice, one time with my buddies from North Carolina to California, down the coast, back across the South, through the Occupy movement, then took that individual road trip, so certainly spent a lot of time with that little guy. It's a good car. Never really caused me much trouble, and sent it off. I donated it that year. And my taxes were such that the donation didn't do anything for me, so I could have just given it away to a friend. But hopefully it helped out somebody. What else we got here? CBD. I found this photo. This is 5 years old. I was taking CBD before it was the hip thing to do. I forget which company made that. It certainly wasn't public, but probably not trustworthy either. Nice to see that we are getting some legitimate companies and some standards. Looking forward to standards in CBD, because we don't know what mold is on those flowers that they're getting their CBD from, and we don't know what extraction methods they're using. So we do need some kind of regulation in that industry to ensure quality standards are kept. So I am looking forward to that part of things. And I'll see you all in the near future. And we'll go over a little Florida road trip, which is cool as long as you don't do it in the summer. And I made that mistake, and it was miserable. So have a good night. We'll see you soon.